Hi, this is Tom Edens, your evolutionary astrologer. How can I radiate more soulfully? How can I live more true to my heart? How can I honor my emotional experience here in my actions and being? These are new moon questions, and I want to talk about the new moon in Virgo on September 6th, Monday at 8:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm really excited to share with you guys. Please subscribe and like the video. Let's get right into the new moon. So this is a new moon in Virgo. And as I said, new moons are about discovering how we are whole and contained within ourselves. They're an opportunity to look within and really get emotionally centered, because this is a time of receiving a seed, as it were, in the ground of our being. And so a time to tune in emotionally and see what's going to grow out of that seed. And in Virgo is a sign of acting in earnest. It's a sign of coming from a pure place, a place of integrity, and it's an earth sign, so it's about getting organized and really honing our skills and developing our skill set in order to be of greater service to others. So one of the things about this new moon is that it is in opposition to Neptune in Pisces. And so that really brings in a sense of disillusionment and a sense of expanding beyond ourselves. Neptune in Pisces is very cosmic consciousness kind of influence, and it's the opposite of Virgo. So Virgo and Pisces are polarities of one axis, and this new moon really highlights the integration of that axis. So that can be that Neptune in Pisces, evolutionarily speaking, it helps us dissolve the ego and attune to a greater sense of ourself. But practically speaking, that doesn't always feel so nice. It can feel a little like anxiety, unsurety, and disillusionment, loss of the familiar. So the key takeaway here in integrating this energy is that to trust in a greater order and path, and that as things fall into place, as things dissolve from what we know, they will fall into place as they reaccumulate, reaccrete into our life and into our actions. And so trusting in our greater alignment, trusting in our inner being, in our connection to Source, God, Goddess, all that is divine wisdom, coming in and integrating that into our life in tangible ways. That's really what the new moon here in Virgo is about. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the chart, and we'll look at some of the other aspects that are showing up with this new moon. So we can see here is the moon itself, the new moon, and it is opposite to Neptune in Pisces, as I was just speaking about. And so this week leading up to this, we've had Mars here, opposite to Neptune in Pisces. And that has brought some tension into our experience. This Mars in Virgo wants to take action, wants to get things done, wants to be organized and lay down some foundations. But Neptune, as I said, is dissolving our ability to do that. So might have been some frustrations coming up this week. And with this new moon, it's kind of about dealing with frustrations in a lot of ways, as we'll see when we get into some of the other aspects going on. But these frustrations, as I said earlier, are really part of a bigger picture. So dissolving things that aren't working for us, dissolving old aspects, and allowing us to really tune into something greater and bring that into our daily actions. And so we're going to see how there's a prominence of Pluto and Chiron, a prominence of wounds and letting go. And really, this is really such a time to sit with our feelings and just accept them and allow them to be what they are, so that we can see more clearly what is that spiritual picture that we're wanting to tune into. What is the influence of our guides and angels that how does that come into our life? In tangible ways, in ways we can implement in our life. There's that Virgo Earth again. So one of the things that another aspect to the moon, here I'm going to change colors, is Uranus. Here is trine to the moon. Uranus, the great disruptor. Uranus, that part of ourself which is an urge for freedom, which wants to break away from the norm and assert our individuality and just allow us to be ourselves. So Uranus has been playing a big part this year, mostly in square to Saturn. So disrupting influence, and Uranus in Taurus. So helping us reframe our ideas around resources. Resources, our relationship to the land and agriculture, a relationship to money, relationship to health, to peace, security, stability, simplicity. These are all Taurus themes, and Uranus is shaking it up, man, stirring the pot. And so breaking up, things we're used to on the earth, systems and ways we're used to functioning. And so that is creating an opportunity for us. How can we change our relationship? How can we incorporate the disruptions we're experiencing right now to help us in this new moon radiate more soulfully in tangible service? All right. So that's a big influence here at this new moon as well, Uranus. And so a couple other things going on that aren't directly aspecting the moon but are happening in the chart and will have some prominent influence is this Pluto square to Venus. So we have Venus, our inner magnetism, how we function in relationships, how we relate to other people. Venus in Libra in her home sign. So really a nice time for taking into consideration other people's desires, needs, and wants, and integrating that, relating to that, being diplomatic about how we're approaching other people. Now this Pluto square is a little hard. It's kind of a hard cookie, hard, and so what do we do with that? We gotta gnaw on it a little bit. Pluto is that part of us that tunes into really our inner motivations and why are we here? What really grips you? It's the icon, the archetype of death, but that means death and then rebirth. So it's the archetype of transformation in a sense that death is looming for all of us. What does that drive you to do? What do you want to do before you die? What really motivates you? What really means something to you? That's kind of the high evolutionary expression of Pluto. Again, like Neptune, though, it doesn't always come out that way. And so possible other expressions are that we fall into compulsive behaviors, addictive behaviors. We fall into our fears and our unconscious feelings of anxiety and fear and senses of loss and pain. So it can really bring a lot up. And if we slide into that in these compulsive activities, and it can be in relation to that Venus, then there's a potential there for abuse to come up in our relationships. Might be mild, might be dramatic and obvious, but at any rate, we want to avoid that. We want to look to the high side of Pluto and say, what's really meaningful in my relationships with whoever this person is I'm relating with, and feeling, however I feel by that, but if we're feeling hurt, loss, these kind of things, what can we let go of in order to have a better relationship right now? And so there is a positive influence that might be helpful here too to speak about, and that's Jupiter here, 24 degrees. You see, Venus is at 25 degrees, so Jupiter is trine to Venus. That's good. Jupiter, the great benevolent Jupiter, the part of ourself that that steps forward into faith, that is willing to take those leaps of faith and rely on luck and goodwill and benevolence of the universe. And it's kind of on our side here with relationships. So if we do choose that high path of looking in ourselves and seeing what's reflected in other people, rather than what are we projecting onto them, projecting our pain and hurt, but rather see what are they reflecting back to us, what do we need to let go of, and dig deeper in ourselves and find something really meaningful to bring out. If we're able to do that, Jupiter is there and will bring us the big ideas, Jupiter in Aquarius, and the people, the relationships that will help these big ideas grow. Aquarius, the sign of the genius, the sign of the rebel, the sign of our own inner genius. So taking a leap of faith and expanding into our own inner genius, our own big ideas. And it's going to be a harmonious time to receive relationships, people that can help us bring that into being. And so that's exciting. Good things. There's another aspect here that relates to Pluto, though. This Mars, you see, is at 24 degrees. Pluto is at 24 degrees. So let me just clean this up a little bit. And we'll show that this is a trine, this Mars to Pluto. So we have two earth signs, Mars in Virgo, Pluto in Capricorn. So that Mars, we're taking action. How are we taking action? Taking action, taking tangible steps, organized action, action of service and humility, humbleness. So you can see how that if we bring in that sense of Pluto, what are we willing to let go of right now to attune to what really grabs us, what really has us in our heart, and to attune to how are we creating goals that are leading us into those more meaningful things in our life, those more meaningful actions, really tuning us in to that inner motivation, that divine motivation, bringing that Neptune back into the picture, and receiving the seed. So are we able to let go of something that allows us to tune in, to set up the pathway, to set the goals, to take the actions, to achieve the goals, to put the systems in place, and take the actions that will get us there, and be organized about that and deliberate, and really just keep working on it, keep getting better. This is Mars in Virgo. Keep taking action and just think, oh, I could do that a little bit better. You might be self-critical, Mars in Virgo. It might be, oh, that's never good enough. But again, can we turn that around to, hey, it could be better, and next time I'll be better, but right now I'm doing the best I can. So, big love, big ups. Remember, Jupiter's trine Venus as well. So there's a lot of support in that, waiting for us to tune into it and utilize it. So hey, that's evolutionary astrology. One more thing I want to mention with regard to this chart and this new moon, and this is a big thing because it leads us into the next couple of months. We got Mercury in retrograde starting on the 27th, so at the end of September. But right now, the day of this new moon, it's entering its shadow. So it's going to go retrograde up here around 27 degrees or 25 degrees and come back to this 10-degree mark over the course of the next 2 months. So we're entering this phase of really introspection and reflection, and kind of time to look back on our actions and sort of recalibrate. And another thing that's a big deal here is this opposition between between Mercury and Chiron. Chiron, the wounded healer, that part of ourself, gotta plug in. We'll be all right though. That part of ourself that is healing, that part of ourself that feels wounded, that feels hurt, that feels loss, and are working on that, are sitting with our emotions. And we might have felt jaded or hurt by other people. This is Mercury in Libra, and Chiron in Aries. So maybe we're not feeling like we're good enough. I'm not enough. You know, that's that wound in Aries. I'm not enough. And so with Mercury here in Libra, it's really finding the balance, finding the attunement to other people, and just sitting with our feelings of loss or aggression or assertion or whatever they might be, anger, hurt, sadness, grief, just allowing that to be, allowing it to be what it is, to feel it. And Mercury, our perceptions, our thoughts, our ideas, how are we taking this in? So as we sit with this, just really taking the time to reflect on what these emotions are and how we can move into wholeness. So can we integrate this into our healing by acknowledging our woundedness and our need for healing? And so how can we integrate all this into our thoughts and perceptions really over the next couple of months? So that's a big part of this new moon too, that is we're receiving a seed to help us heal and attune to something greater and more meaningful, and also to help us really listen to our higher guidance and bring that Neptune wisdom into the picture. So that's about it for this new moon. I really hope you've enjoyed this. Please, again, subscribe to my channel, like the video if you like it. Why not? Hit the bell, get the notifications, all that good stuff that helps YouTubers grow. I want to be there and be getting out there. So anyway, if you tune in this long, I really appreciate you. Have a wonderful new moon. I have a link I'll put down below to a free 15-minute Zoom astro discovery call. So if you want to, I like to talk a little bit about the soul's path, the soul's journey. What is the south node and the north node of your moon, of the moon in your chart? So feel free, click the link, sign up for the free 15-minute Zoom call, and we will discover the soul's path, where you've come from, and where you're moving towards as we grow and learn and move forward and express, radiate from your heart. That's the new moon. Much love, y'all. Talk to you soon.